Welcome back to another property tour. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Joshua Guevara. I'm an associate broker with the AM Real Estate Group here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And today, we're actually at the bank. And that's going to be a good sign because we're going to be cashing some checks. I'm going to give you guys a little breakdown of how I did a wholesale deal with this gentleman who was in, valuing me to sell in a 2-week period. Of course, we had to make it a cash deal. But before we jump into the property tour, I'm just going to let you guys know I started an LLC for this one, and I did wholesale that property, okay? And again, that was a $15,000 check, okay? We're going to go ahead and make sure we get this in and get it started. Thank you guys for joining in. All right, here we go. It's 9508 Ventosi, Road Northwest 87114 is the zip code for this area. Now, this is located in Ventana Point inside of Ventana Ranch area. We're going to be located off of Paseo and Rainbow. All right, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a 2-car garage. It's 1,565 square feet. As you can tell, there's going to be a brick veneer front, pitched roof, shingles as the exterior material for the roof. Now, as I said in the little clip before, this was not sold on the market. This was sold off market. All right. So that means that it was not on MLS. It wasn't even on Zillow. I mean, don't get me wrong. After I sent it to the investor and they actually ended up closing on the deal, they did turn around and sell this property for a good number there. I can't disclose what that number is, but it definitely was near my ARV, or actually I should say after repair value estimate. And after my analysis, it came out to around $320,000. That was my ARV number for this home, especially considering it has refrigerated air. And once we get inside, you're going to see that there was really not much wrong with it. Okay. The paint probably needed to be done, carpet replaced. Other than that, it was a solid deal. But want to kind of just dive into everything that kind of conspired up to it, right? Because of course I met this client, and as I stated, he was in a hard spot, so we needed to make things happen fast. And what I turned around and did was I formed an LLC, which you can do in any state, okay? It's not that hard, maybe gonna cost you about $300 tops, and that's if you pay somebody to do it. If you're doing it yourself, most likely it's gonna be around $150 at the end of the day once you actually file everything. But for the most part, really simple and easy. It's not too bad. I'll actually put a link in the description for you to file an LLC in whatever state. And I love this website because it gives you a breakdown of steps that you need to take, okay? And all you got to do is follow the steps. But once I filed that LLC and I made it a real registered business, of course, I went to the investor, let him know, hey, this is what I got going. This is what we're looking for. Here is my fee, okay? Of course, I can't put the numbers out there, but all I can say is my fee was $15,000. That's one thing I will tell you guys for sure. My fee was $15,000 out the gate. Now, I did have another investor that I was supposed to sell this to for $10,000, but I let this one outbid the other guy, right? Which, don't get me wrong, he's probably a little hurt with me right now, but there will be more deals to come. So with that being said, whenever you have somebody, whether you're a broker, right, and you have somebody who's like, oh man, I just really don't want to put on the market. I want to sell fast. I need to find a cash buyer. You could be that person who puts them in with that cash buyer, okay? And you can still get your fee, and it just goes through a different entity. But my biggest thing is protecting your butt, okay? You got to protect your butt as a realtor because you're walking this fine line of now you're, legally we're not supposed to disclose where our sellers are supposed to finally sell at, right? We're supposed to try and get them as much money as we possibly can before we actually have to end up dropping the sales price, okay? In this situation, he's like, I don't really care. This is my number. You give it to me, it's done, okay? In your contracts, you're going to want to make sure that you disclose that you are a licensed agent, okay? You want to also disclose that you gave the seller his opportunity to put the house on the market and that he understands his right, that he's waived it, okay? And that he understands that you are a licensed agent, right? So you want to just make sure you're spelling that clear in a general addendum or whatever it is that you are using. And then, of course, you also want to make sure that you're working with a title company who's cool with this kind of stuff, right? They got to make sure that they know what they're doing when it comes to actually the assignment document itself, right? They don't want to close the deal and they forgot to,
keep track of the assignment, doc, and now where's your money going? Well, it wasn't collected at title. So now you got a big issue. So definitely make sure the players on your team know what you're doing, right? Make sure you're in coordination with everybody, the seller, your buyer, and the title company. You're pretty much going to juggle and facilitate the whole transaction, which is a good thing. But at the same time, it lets everybody know you're being real transparent. You're not being shady. And I even told my seller what I was making, and he was cool with that, right? At the end of the day, don't get me wrong, there's going to be a seller who's not going to like it, but it depends on who's paying for your fee. Because if the seller doesn't see the fee that you're making, well, then there you go. He's not going to know exactly what you're making, but I like to be transparent, right? I told him out the gate, my initial fee is 10,000, but I was able to get it up to 15. I let him know he was okay with that. We all moved forward. Actually, the guy sent me something for the holidays. I mean, he's an awesome dude. And I feel, very, very honored that he was able to trust me with his business. So do keep that in mind, guys. Even if you're working a 9 to 5 and you have an aunt or an uncle who knows that their house is falling apart and they're just ready to get out of it, they own it free and clear, you could be that person to help them sell for a fee, right? It's just, you got to know what you're doing with your paperwork. You got to know who you're working with when it comes to the players in the game, okay? So this deal, as you can tell, this home didn't need much going on. It's really a slam dunk, awesome deal. But at the same time, you always want to get inspections, And don't get me wrong, if you're a billionaire investor like the guy who bought this one, yeah, you could probably take a little, $5,000 to $10,000 extra ding when it comes to now seeing the property and say there was something wrong with the sewer line. Okay, he'd be able to do that, right? But of course, at the same time, he wouldn't be happy because he's supposed to make a certain amount at the end of the day. So this is where if you were the one who's trying to buy these style of properties or these kind of properties, I always suggest getting with the roofer and getting with the sewer scope specialist, okay? Because you want to check what's underneath in the sewer lines and you want to see what's covering the head. Those are going to be two major items that can cost you a ton of money, okay? Now, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you ever want to reach out to me, you can reach me at 505-363-7926, or you can email Joshua at mregrp.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. You have a good one. Bye-bye.